Back. Vets in Khayelitsha are concerned about an uncontrolled spike of the pet population there. Officials from Mdzananda Animal Clinic say most of the 300,000 pets are not sterilised. They've now launched a mass sterilisation program. Let's speak to Marcelle Du Plessis from the clinic. Marcelle, thank you very much for speaking to us this evening. So uncontrolled breeding is obviously problematic because most of the resultant pets will be unwanted and end up in shelters, putting incredible strain on the welfare organisations. But tell us about the role that planned breeding for sale plays specifically in this Khayelitsha community.
Well, yes, as you mentioned, there is planned breeding happening. Unfortunately, it is an area which is impoverished, and a lot of people do breed with their animals to create income. At the same time, there's a lot of superstitions about breeding. So, for example, that a female dog needs to have at least 1 litter of puppies, or that a male dog will lose his manliness if he's sterilized and then won't protect the house. So there is still a lot of breeding happening, whether it's planned for income or for other reasons.
So how are you going to convince communities to buy into this mass sterilization program? What kind of education drives are currently ongoing?
So we do a lot of education in the community. We have various programs. One of them is a mobile clinic, which goes out into various areas educating about basic healthcare, including sterilization. And then we also do door-to-door education, where we go into people's houses, speak to them, assess their needs. We also do some school education with the children, and every single client who comes to our clinic gets personalized education as well. And recently there was also a bylaw passed which says that every animal over 6 months of age needs to be sterilized. So this also helps us back that education with a real law.
In impoverished communities, one can make the assumption that many pet owners will not access sterilisation simply because they can't afford it. So you're also providing them with an alternative to simply not having their animals sterilised. What are the processes involved, and what do they need to do from their side?
So currently, as a clinic, we sterilize about 1,500 animals a year. And as you mentioned, we just launched a new mass sterilization program, which we're aiming to double that. So we are tracking the animals who are not sterilized through our door-to-door education and mobile clinics. And we are then, our 2 clinics are doing sterilization. So the process is really just signing up with us, or when they see us, to sign up with us, and we will organize to collect the animal, take it to sterilization, and make sure that it has good post-recovery, and then bring them back home again. And of course, help the people to know what to expect and how to care for their animal afterwards, or post-operative care.
What kind of uptick have you seen? Has this campaign started yet?
Yes, so we launched the satellite sterilization clinic in partnership with the Blue Downs Animal Clinic in January, and we aim to double our steries, so we aim to do 3,000 in total this year. And we actually we wanted to only do 700, but we've doubled that target just because we are getting such a huge, great response. People are really willing, they're really open to the education and understanding how important it is. So we're having a great result, and we would love to do more. It's really just down to funding now, of how many animals can we sterilize with the funding we have available.
So for those people who might not be convinced yet, what are the benefits of sterilization, not just for one pet owner for his pet, but for the broader community?
Yes, there's so many. The first is just the pet population. At the rate at which animals are reproducing is quite astronomical. So statistics show that if one animal and its mate and all the puppies are never sterilized, there can be up to 67,000 puppies born in just 6 years. So it's an enormous amount. And then there are, of course, huge medical benefits for healthcare. It helps to prevent the different types of cancers. It also just helps animals who have a little bit of a crazy personality, those ones that hump the pillows and the legs, they stop doing those type of things. So it really also, it helps the community, because many of the animals who are on heat will attract the other animals, and dogs that are searching for a female on heat can do a lot of damage. They can really rip up a yard. So it's helping community members also to not have to engage with that type of behaviors in their community.
Let's also just talk about the sale of animals, because if communities are making money from the sale of breeding of their pets, that's problematic in a number of different ways. But let's just talk about the legalities around that. Is it illegal? Can people be fined or not?
So it isn't illegal to sell an animal. We, of course, do advise that you rather, if you really do not want to adopt from a shelter, that is always the first option, adopt rather than buying. If you do really want to buy, make sure that you are buying from a good registered breeder, not a backyard breeder, because backyard breeding is where there's no regulations, where animals can be in horrific conditions. It is not legal to go and sell puppies without a license on the streets. So if you do see something like that happening, you need to call law enforcement immediately so that they can sort out a problem like that.
Well, thank you very much for the work that you are doing. Absolutely forefront is animal welfare. That was Marcelle Du Plessis from Mdzananda Animal Clinic in Khayelitsha.